It's really tricky because it's kind of reading between the lines and at the same time them remaining safe. I really don't envy colleagues of mine who are also male sex workers. I really don't envy them because on the one hand, they deal with this kind of like erotic energy where they need to be in charge, need to be in order for the woman to feel feminine. And that can, that there's this kind of like not wanting to step into non-consent, but at the same time needing to take charge because erotically that's what is required. It's really tricky because it's kind of reading between the lines and at the same time them remaining safe, yeah, so that they may need to check in verbally ever so often. And one way to do that with a partner is, for example, something that's called consensual non-consent. So that the man says, okay, this is what I'm going to do to you, and leaves a split second for them to say no. And it needs to be discussed before that, this is the kind of like exercise, as in like this is the, so she can't say no. But rather than saying, what would you like me to do to you, to saying, this is what I'm going to do to you, and this is what I'm going to do to you. So this gets very hot, but she can't say no. Yeah, but it's multi-layered, what you're saying.
Mm. Where are you with this, Kenny?
I recently heard, and I don't remember the person's name, some sort of a 3-minute game where it's for 3 minutes. I'm going to, for 3 minutes, let's do this. And then it's not a deep dive into, it's like, okay, let's check it out for 3 minutes. And for 3 minutes, let's do that. And it's like, don't really fancy the sound of that, but maybe let's do this instead. So there's a bit of a play and a navigation without jumping in too much. And I guess it can be safe because not only is it 3 minutes, but you can say no, and you can say stop at any stage. So that's the kind of thing that I've been working with more recently. And the reason it's gone that way for me is I found that in the communication and navigation, people can get so in their heads that it's just not fun anymore. It's more like some sort of a heavy negotiation and a battle of wits. Well, it's not that bad, I'm exaggerating, but it's like it takes out of the juice of it and it goes into fearful negotiation and overprotective boundaries, as you said earlier, Stella, of the other, not even of self, of the other. It's like second guessing. Not sure how sexy second guessing is, but to be able to read the grunts and the moans and the signals and maybe set them up first. So it's not, I hope they get this, that this means yes, this means more, this means no, this means get off me before I break your arms. And people might get scared to actually say things because it's like, it's too much, it started, and I don't know how to say stop, but I want to say stop. And then a noise would do it rather than the formality and the vocabulary of the head.
Well, exactly, and the noise is not always reliable. And so, for example, like in sessions, I may ask, okay, so you're making a lot of sounds, and so where's your arousal at, like 0 to 10? And sometimes it's quite loud sounds, but the arousal is at 2 or 3. And so, it doesn't really. So because it's also the kind of like, okay, I make sounds in order to get aroused. So it's useful to check in. A 3-minute game. I use that quite a lot. It's from Betty Martin, and it has 2 questions. How would you like me to touch you for 3 minutes? So that's stepping into the serving. What would you like? Huh? And the other one is stepping into the allowing and putting the other partner into the taking. How would you like to ravish me? I'm the menu. Yeah. So how would you like to touch me for 3 minutes? Yeah. Here we are. But I say I look after my boundaries. So if you want to touch something that's not all right, I will speak out. And you're right. It's just 3 minutes. And so people don't have to kind of like think, what would I like for the next half hour? So it's like this kind of time limit is a boundary in itself, and it's really helping. Another nice way for people to communicate about touch is sometimes it's a yes or no game, but it's also a kind of red, orange, green, where one person actually takes initiative. So you can communicate before which areas are all right to touch, whether you want to include primary erogenous zones or not. But else there's the kind of like active person touching the other person, and the person receiving says either yes or no, or says green, as in carry on, orange, slow down and let me feel a little bit into that, or red, take your hands off right away. And then the person needs to kind of like start in another place. That's a kind of nice way to kind of initiate physical touch, possibly also erotic touch. And again, it's not playful. And so it makes people laugh. And you can do that with hands. You can also do it like with a big toy, like one of these kind of like big vibrators, because that makes people giggle. Because like they get so strong that like if you use that like on the head or something like that, it's kind of like, oh, get off here. That's red.